Hey guys, this is Annalise. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that this video includes both the prologue and chapter 1 for Mario Legends. These audiobooks exist because of a unanimous poll vote I put up a little while ago, stating that they all should be on the main channel and not the second channel. This is also helpful because the animations take way longer for various reasons, all pertaining to certain steps. Of course, there are the little things, but the bigger things include drawing every slide, composing the music, and doing all of the voice acting. And on top of that, editing it all. So hopefully this will be helpful so that you guys can wait while receiving Mario Legends content at the same time. If you want to know how I did these audiobooks, please check the description. And without further ado, let's begin. Please sit back and enjoy. Prologue: The Legend of Thedos. In the beginning, they say, the universe was no more than a chaotic void. Within that void was a spherical mass of greenery with no source of life upon it. A divine being, the goddess Darenakka, saw this green sphere and tried to interact with it, but the green presence made her hesitant. Therefore, the goddess created beings known as animals that could clear ground and make a safe place for her to land. These animals were destined to rule the land, the sky, and the sea, and by the time the goddess was finally able to touch the ground, the entire universe came to life. However, the greenery was still a problem, and so the goddess tried to wash away the poisons by flooding the ground with water. Not even that was enough. So the goddess insisted on dwelling in the sky and using the leftover land to create islands. One day, the goddess decided to create humans in her image to be able to communicate with them, for the current world felt lonely, and their purpose was to use the given resources to build civilizations in her honor. The only problem was that the natural world was too dangerous, and the people struggled to survive. The goddess granted people the freedom to do whatever they wanted with the natural environment, even if it meant that they had to hurt the flowers, grass, trees, and everything natural, or even kill them. These resources were used to create cultures and communities of people who adored the goddess. The goddess's most sacred island was known as Phinleyan, which was placed in between two nations whose people defied her and followed their own ways. Somewhere in the middle of this island dwelled her most valued followers, the Thedosians. Chapter 1: Annalise of Thedos. At the end of the month of Mayos, when the school year had come to an end in 1517, Annalise and her family of 6 were taken upon a boat to Brookali from Thedos. Tana, eager to quit educating her children from home, planned a vacation to drive her family away from their default lives they were currently living. On this trip, she spoke to Annalise while Ch1, Tana's husband, spoke to Mylanon, Inaro, and Josephina about the same topic. You know, Tana said, I have been planning this vacation longer than I told you. Brookali is such a fantastic place, especially for tourists. What do you think about it, Annalise? Are you excited? Annalise had no words at the moment. She was listening to Tana's words, even though she was looking at a book, reading a few articles about a Brookalite she was curious about. Well, Tana asked. Anyway, I doubt that you have heard about this or not, but I will no longer be educating you and your siblings from home. Annalise then put her book aside, alerted by what she was told. Yes, it is true, Tana said. For the next school year, you 4 will be attending a schoolhouse that is local to home. Annalise thought she was referring to Darenakka Academy. She was 13 at the time. No, I must not send you to Darenakka Academy, Tana said. Annalise was shocked. Because, Tana said, I don't want you to attend such a lawless and free-willed school. You see, Ch1 and I have visited the temple close by, and we feel sorry for our ways before. It is the temple of the Darenakkans I'm referring to. Darenakka Academy is a small school fit for all ages. There we should grow more focused on this world's phenomena and its creator. I envy the teachings they have to offer. What do you think about it? Annalise's family was not religious at the time. Therefore, Tana agreed that they should soon join the temple of Darenakka, the goddess who created and ruled over all of Phinleyan. She was said to be the goddess of all, and she had no equals. Annalise got up and left. She stood along the boat's bow, where she gazed into the distance. Brookali was dead ahead. She then overheard a conversation among the rest of her family. "Say, the Brookalites we were said to visit," Mylanon said. "Is it true that they will be there to await us?" "Which Brookalites?" Enaro asked. "Who said we would be coming here to visit somebody in particular?" "I don't know," Mylanon said. "I was just expecting such because Annalise wouldn't stop talking about it. Personally, I think it would be really cool. Whatever's gonna happen, I'm all in." "When will we be there?" Josephina asked. "I'm ready to leave this boat." "It will only take us a few more minutes," Shano said. "Sit tight." Soon, the boat was docked at the harbor along the shores of Brookali. Each passenger was escorted off individually to ensure the safety of each tourist. While Tana and Shano checked in for a place to stay, they allowed their children to sightsee the area around them. Annalise was the first to leave, and she looked around the front yard and main lobby of the hotel. "A new generation is on its way," Annalise said. "I can feel it." The family stood around, but Annalise explored. None of them were allowed to go anywhere outside the plaza, which was surrounded by a village that was just a walk away. The plaza was mostly plain, but it was centered with a fountain decorated with odd statues and benches, and there were 2 small shops built into the base of the hotel. The hotel was 3 stories high, and the main entrance was on an elevated platform. After looking around the area and getting used to the basic controls, moving around, running, jumping, and crouching, Annalise spoke to Mylanon, who was standing at the main entrance to the hotel. "I think Mom and Dad are finished checking in," Mylanon said. "Should we go and find our room?" Annalise nodded. Both entered and reunited with the rest of the family. By the time the family entered their hotel room, the sun had set, and so everyone had prepared for bed. Annalise was awakened in the middle of the night at the sound of an eerie noise. She stood up and took a peek outside the window. All she could see was pitch darkness, and the ground in crimson flames. The Brookalites were screaming and running in fear, for they were threatened by figures that could not be seen very clearly from the hotel. One was in the shape of a beast, and another was a giantess. The third was in the image of the goddess Tana brought up as she was talking about Darenakka Academy, the school she plans to place her children into. However, 3 people stood before these 3 figures. 2 of them were Brookalites, and the third was a young girl with a sword. Then, 13 additional people appeared behind them. They all had no fear. "What are you looking at?" Mylanon asked, waking up. Annalise turned as she was startled. "Mylanon!" "It's not morning yet," Mylanon said. "Why are you looking out the window? Did you see something?" "I did," Annalise said. "Look." Mylanon looked outside. All he could see was the front yard decorated in street lights. Nobody was out there. "It's just the front yard," Mylanon said. "Are you all right?" "Huh?" Annalise asked. She took a look outside, and she saw the same thing Mylanon did. Everything she saw earlier wasn't there anymore. "I must be tired," Annalise said. "Well, duh, it's midnight," Mylanon said. "If you're tired, then go back to bed." "So speak," Annalise said. Annalise lay back down. Mylanon collapsed in bed and immediately fell asleep. Annalise did not sleep, for she was not feeling it. "No," Annalise said. "What I saw has to mean something that no one else will understand." The next morning, Annalise and her family arose to begin their vacation. They immediately left the hotel for Eosater, Phinleyan breakfast, and Dionias, drinks native to Phinleyan, with a variety of flavors. "Where to today?" Tana asked. "I say we start in the plaza," Shano said. "I believe we can learn more about the Darenakkans. for there are a lot of interesting features there. Of course, Tana said. Now, children, which Dionias would you like this morning? My usual, Mylanon said. Nut mix. I want peanut butter, Inaro said. Tropical fruit punch, please, Josephina said. Okay, Annalise, Shano asked. Annalise said. Cookie dough. All right, Tana, Shano asked. Very berry, Tana said. Okay, and I will have mint cocoa, Shano said. The family sat around the plaza while having egletes, omelets, for Eosater and sipping their Dionias. Annalise thought about what she saw out the window last night. She thought about the beast, the giantess, and the goddess. Then she read her book that included articles about the Brookalites she was interested in. After Eosater, Annalise's family decided to explore the plaza. They observed the featured art of scenes from the Darenakka belief system. However, the entire area compared to Thedos was more green. Annalise found her opportunity to dispatch from the rest of the family to read the passage displayed on one of the statues of the goddess. Nature is the foe. Animals are sacred to the goddess, but plants threaten her. The elements are deadly, therefore, all things are made from minerals. Annalise felt confused, misunderstanding why her family chose to follow a religion that says that nature is dangerous. It was somewhat sensible, due to the existence of poison, natural disasters, and vicious wild animals, but it still sounded ridiculous. Every time she touched grass, nothing happened to her. Supposedly, it was said that nature showed beauty to the human eye only to hide its inner toxin behind a mask of innocence. I find it very strange, Annalise said. Why do people believe in a goddess who is an enemy to nature? Maybe I just know nothing about this belief system. I must do some research. Annalise decided to move on until she took a break beside the fountain in the middle of the plaza. She held out her hand and let water pour on it. There was also a statue of the goddess on top of the fountain. Annalise wasn't pleased. Who? Annalise said. Suddenly, Annalise was encountered by two Brookalites. Once she saw their faces, she immediately flashed back to what she saw outside at night. She tried not to express it in order to avoid seeming awkward. Hello? Annalise asked. It was Mario and Luigi. Are you the two Brookalites I have been reading about? Annalise asked. Huh, they write about us? Luigi asked. I guess we must be famous. My parents said that we came here for our vacation, not to meet any specific people. Annalise said. I'll show them. Well, I wouldn't have expected to have people come here to meet us in person, Mario said. Then, who might you two be? Annalise asked. Mario and Luigi properly introduced themselves. It's a me, Mario, Mario said. It's a me, Luigi, Luigi said. Annalise was amazed. So, how about you? Mario asked. Who are you? And where do you come from? Oh, me? Annalise asked. I'm Annalise, and I'm from Thedos. Thedos, Luigi asked. I have never heard of it. Yeah, it's not very famous for anything, Annalise said. Suddenly, Tana overheard Annalise, and the rest of the family ended up joining in. Mario and Luigi looked over and saw the confusion on their faces. Who is this? Mario asked. Oh, that's just my family, Annalise said. I should have known, Mylanon said. What makes you two so famous, I wonder? I've been wondering the same thing, Luigi said. I guess we did end up meeting people after all, Tana said. Well, there's nothing wrong with socializing. Considering this plaza, Shano said. What are your thoughts on the Darenakka belief system? The Darenakkans? Mario asked. I don't know anything about them. Seriously? Tana asked. Then why have you come to the plaza? Mario was actually curious about it himself, Luigi said, and I informed him about this plaza. Well, I can tell that the decorations appeared here not too long ago, Mario said. Wait, really? Mylanon asked. Recently, the Brookalites were influenced by the Phinleyan Darenakkans, Mario said. Neither of us were involved, though. Interesting, Tana said. Should we get to know them together? We really don't have a lot of time, Luigi said. We gotta go in a bit. Then why don't we come along? Juno asked. Mario said. Annalise and her family visited Mario and Luigi while discussing the Darenakka religion. They did a lot of research and learned about their views on nature, tradition, hobbies, and daily life. Tana and Shana were much more drawn in than before, and they even let Mario and Luigi in on sending their children to Darenakka Academy for the next school year. Neither of the bros were familiar with it. Soon, it was time for the family to return to Thedos. Mario and Luigi stood at the harbor as the boat began to depart from Brookali. Luigi started looking around, but Mario was mainly focused on Annalise. Both of them seemed to have the same thoughts on the Darenakkans. Something was definitely off. Annalise took one last look at Brookali before it was too far away to be seen. She waved at Mario, giving him an idea. "Luigi," Mario said. "Mario?" Luigi asked. "I say we will catch the next one," Mario said. Back in Thedos, Annalise and her family returned home safely. Everybody decided to rest, but Annalise started looking around. Every Phinleyan house in her village was 1 story tall with 4 bedrooms, so everyone was able to have their own room, each with different colored walls. A master bedroom, 2 bathrooms, a storage room, a kitchen, a dining room, and a lounge. Besides the houses, each village included a farm, including fields, a pasture, a garden, and a barn for livestock, a well to collect rainwater because Phinleya doesn't have rivers for mills, a workshop for crafting and forging, a marketplace that sells items and resources, a temple now being used for Darenakkan worship, and a few stations to do laundry. Annalise encountered her 2 cats, Kikordi and Kurtana. Kurtana is the mother of 4, and the 4 kittens wander around the neighborhood, whose names are Gracilia, Spatindra, Bortabanese, and Valencio. They were all born 3 years ago. Annalise greeted them before overhearing conversations among her family. First, she was outside in her front yard, looking through a window to see Tana and Josephina. "Do we have to attend Darenakka?" Josephina asked. "Yes, you do," Tana said. "I have made my choice. It's not that I dislike teaching you, since I still love you all. It's just that I don't want any of you to continue living as if you can do whatever you want whenever you want. This school should have some stellar rules to abide by so that you won't just have any free will. Free will can be dangerous, you know." "Then how often will I see you?" Josephina asked. "Don't worry about it," Tana said. "School lets out in the afternoon, and I'll be there to pick you up. Oh, and while you're out, your father and I will try to become members of the temple so that we aren't just forcing you into this new lifestyle and not having anything to do with it." Annalise then entered the house, entering the lounge area to see her brothers and father Shano. "This school has a lot to offer, or so I've heard," Shano said. "Like what?" Inaro asked. Let's see," Shano said. "They do have a sports team and a band. Each academic level is split among 3 parts, low, middle, and high. You 2 and Josephina will be in one of the lower classes, and there are numerous professors for that. Middle and high classes have various professors for each subject, each transitioning to another grade level each hour. Annalise will be in the middle level." "Do you know who our professors are?" Milanon asked. "Your professor is Pulo," Shano said. "Inaro, yours is Professor Olive. Josephina's is Professor Garada." "What about me?" Annalise asked. "Professor Leon is your homeroom professor and your mathematics professor," Shano said. "Professor Chim will teach you Phinleya's history. Professor Zaini is the coach of recreation. Professor Plaza is the band director. Professor Meg is your literature professor. Professor Elijah teaches scientific reasoning and hosts Darenakka's elixir competition. The head professor is Braun, and Andono is the principal and cathedral leader. Orientation is very soon, so you may meet your professors and classmates there." Annalise then returned to her bedroom to collapse on her bed for the rest of the night. Nearly a week later, it was the first day of Juno in 1517. Annalise had overslept, and the rest of her family had already gone to Darenakka Academy. She ended up walking all the way there, only to see a massive campus with no greenery. The paths were well paved and decorated with lights that only turn on at night, and all of the potted plants were fake. There was even a statue of the goddess in the middle of the pavement. There was a track to the right and a sports field to the left. The backyard wasn't visible from the front. The schoolhouse, however, was 2 stories tall. Tana was standing at the entrance, and she wasn't pleased. "You are late, Annalise," Tana said. "Why have you overslept? Have you even had Eosater?" "My mistake," Annalise said. "I must have forgotten." "How could you have forgotten?" Tana said. "We have talked about this before bed every night. I even reminded you to have everything before bed last night so that you would be ready this morning. Your father already took your siblings for a tour around the school. Now, come inside. Somebody wants to see you." Both Tana and Annalise entered the main lobby. The office was on the left. There were benches along the right wall, and there was a double door ahead that led into the hallway. The door to the office opened, and Braun entered the lobby. "Ah, she's finally here," Braun said. "He's been waiting." "I would imagine," Tana said. "This girl really needs to learn not to be selfish." "All right, then come in," Braun said. Tana stood next to the door to the hallway. Braun escorted Annalise into the principal's office. "I am the head Professor Braun," Braun said. "You must be Annalise. Your mother told me all about your free will while we were waiting for you to show up." He opened the door to the principal's office and pushed Annalise inside before shutting it. Andono was sitting behind the desk. "No, no, no," Andono said. "Open that door back up." Braun opened the door. "What did I tell you about laying hands on people, especially our new students?" Andono asked. "Oh, right," Braun said. "I apologize, Annalise." Braun shut the door again. "Have a seat," Andono said. Annalise sat on the stool in front of the desk. "So tell me," Andono said, "are you at all interested in joining our temple?" Before Annalise could speak, she was interrupted. "Never mind that," Andono said. "Your mother has already signed you and your family in. Now, answer me this. Are you prepared to surrender to the goddess today?" Annalise wasn't interrupted that time, but she didn't have an answer. "Why do you hesitate to respond?" Andono asked. "You see, Annalise said. "I don't know anything about the Darenakkans." "You what?" Andono stood up and slammed on his desk. "How dare you say that in such a rude manner?" Annalise was startled. There was silence before Andono collected himself and sat back down. "My, you really are lost," Andono said. "No matter. There is plenty of time for you to learn. That is why you are here, I presume?" Annalise gulped and nodded. "Well, then that is good," Andono said. "All Darenakkans approve of new members. It is better to surrender late than never. Just let me know when you are ready, for I lead the cathedral and the temple here. Now, do you have any questions? Do you need help finding your classes?" "No, I think I can figure it out on my own," Annalise said. "If you do need any help, don't be afraid to ask," Andono said. "It is not so easy to get lost here, for it is a small campus. I suggest you find the cathedral. It is the very center room on the 2nd floor. You can't miss it." With that, Annalise was allowed to leave the office. Tana still stood behind the door to the hallway. "How did it go?" Tana asked. "It was fine," Annalise said. "They allowed me to look around the campus." "Good," Tana said. "I was worried that you would be punished. Rules are quite strict here. But you are new, so I guess they were willing to spare you some grace." Tana moved out of the way so that Annalise could enter the hallway. The 1st floor included all of the low classes, the library, the infirmary, the cafeteria, and the gymnasium. There were 2 staircases. One was right next to the library, which was beside the door to the office, and the other was in the back, on the other side of the gymnasium and cafeteria. Every single classroom had a chalkboard, bulletin board, professor's desk, bookshelves, banner, fake plant, goddess statue, and a strange weapon mounted on the wall. All of the professors whose classrooms were on the 1st floor included Professor Garota, Prometa, Grade 1, Josephinus Professor, Professor Nialis, Demeta, Grade 2, Professor Olive, Trimeta, Grade 3, Inaros Professor, Professor Sherry, Quameta, Grade 4, Professor Pulo, Sineda, Grade 5, Milanon's Professor, and Professor Ann, Cicada, Grade 6. The classrooms on the 1st floor had cubbies and tables with chairs for the students. but only Seneda and Ceseda classrooms had rows of desks instead of tables. Annalise was unable to speak to any of them because they were occupied with their incoming students. Few students from all 3 class levels wandered all over the campus. Shano encountered Annalise right before she went upstairs. "There you are," Shano said. "So you've actually made it? Where are you going?" "Upstairs," Annalise said. "Oh, I see," Shano said. "Your classes should be up there, I'm sure." Annalise went upstairs. There she found the classrooms for the middle and high classes, the band room, practice rooms, the lab, and the cathedral. The classrooms on the second floor had rows of desks instead of tables, as well as wall decorations. Instead of cubbies, there were lockers all around the walls in the hallway. The professors whose classrooms were there included Professor Leon, Cetata, Grade 7, Professor Chim, Oxeta, Grade 8, Professor Elijah, Neneda, Grade 9, Professor Ziny, Decada, Grade 10, Professor Plaza, Predicata, Grade 11, and Professor Meg, Didacata, Grade 12. Those professors were available to speak to Annalise. First, she spoke to Leon, who was wiping his chalkboard. "You must be one of the new students," Leon said. "What's that? You're in my homeroom class? Well, I'm very pleased to have you. I will be the one to inform you on school rules once we have each other's classes together. I will also teach you mathematics this year. How was your experience with math at first?" Next, she spoke to Chim. He was sorting papers on his desk. "It's Annalise, right?" Chim asked. "I will be the one to teach you about the history of Phinleyan. It's a very divine one, I assure you." She spoke to Elijah next, in the lab. He was setting up lab stations with bottled fluids and tools. "I adore science with my entire being," Elijah said. "It pleases me that I will be teaching it to you. I feel more than honored to host the elixir competitions here as well." She spoke to Ziny next. He was sweeping the floor. "Fitness is a virtue," Ziny said. "I believe that we all must be well trained in serving the goddess. It is also fun and games, wouldn't you say? I have several games in store." She spoke to Plaza next, in the band room. She was sitting on the piano bench while holding a flute. "I hear that you are interested in joining our band," Plaza said. "What instrument do you play? A Clarnata, Clarinet? If you would like some tips, I'm always open." Lastly, Annalise spoke to Meg, who was flipping through pages of a textbook. "How much of a reader are you?" Meg asked. "It is important that you must have fine skills in reading in order to understand the passages of the goddess. I'm happy to teach you." After speaking to all of the professors, Annalise entered the cathedral. It was a big room with a lot of chairs lined up to face a stage that included a podium, 4 goddess statues, piano, chalkboard, fake potted plants, and weapons mounted on the wall. Behind the chairs was a podium with a computer, and the walls included paintings, hanging fake plants, torches, and sculptures depicting scenes from the Darenakka goddess's pantheon. 3 boys were hanging out on the stage: Brocus, Multus, and Zan. "Who's that?" Zan asked. "Another has entered this room," Multus said. "She's a pretty one." "Oh, what?" Annalise asked. "Multus, you do this every time," Brocus said. "You really need to work on your first impressions." "Yeah, I'm sorry," Multus said. "Well, you are new here, correct?" Brocus asked. "Who might you be? And are you familiar with us?" Annalise said. "I'm Annalise. Who are you guys?" "They call me Brocus," Brocus said. "These are my pals Multus and Zan. What brings you to Darenakka?" "My parents enrolled me and my siblings here," Annalise said. "They said that we haven't been focused on religious practice." "Is that so?" Brocus asked. "I believe that you don't know the goddess then, yes?" "I have never heard of her," Annalise said. "Well, then your parents should have made the decision to join us a lot sooner," Brocus said. "Whose homeroom class are you in? Do you know?" "Professor Leon's," Annalise said. "You?" "Same," Brocus said. "Hey, we should chat a lot more sometime, since we have the same classes every day this year." Annalise left the cathedral. Annalise could only assume that Brocus, Multus, and Zan weren't new to Darenakka Academy, for they were already in uniform, shirts in maroon, white, or gray, navy blue or khaki pants, black suspenders, shoes and ties, and belts. Women wore skirts instead of pants. Their shirts had puffy sleeves, and some wore sweaters. Annalise decided to see if she could meet anyone else before leaving. She started by looking for the rooms that weren't classrooms. She met Cornan in a practice room. He was doing an art project. "Hey, are you new too?" Cornan asked. Annalise nodded. "I was interested in starting an art club for the school, but Andono didn't allow it," Cornan said. "He says that free will is dangerous and selfish. Who is to say the keepers of these bound students aren't selfish either?" "It must have something to do with the Darenakka beliefs," Annalise said. "Wait a sec. Are you also unfamiliar with them?" "Very," Cornan said. "I only came here because it was the only school close enough to home. I didn't expect some insanely strict rules such as these. It's almost like they think that freedom doesn't exist." "I thought I was the only one who put it that way," Annalise said. "I'm Annalise. Nice to meet you." "I'm Cornan," Cornan said. "I hope we have classes together. Do you have Leon as your homeroom professor?" "I do," Annalise said. "Awesome," Cornan said. "I look forward to seeing you more often." Annalise left and went downstairs. Her next stop was the library. 2 people were in there while looking at books. Annalise saw her and got Aaron's attention. "Aaron, look," Annalise said. "We've got company." "Who is it?" Aaron asked. "Another new person, I presume." "I'm new," Annalise said. "Who might you two be?" "They call me Aaron," Aaron said. "And my sister here is Annalise." "You two are related?" Annalise asked. "Indeed we are," Annalise said. "Do you have any siblings?" "I have 3, Annalise said. "I'm Annalise. Are either of you in Professor Leon's homeroom?" "Both of us," Aaron said. "Yeah, we're twins," Annalise said. "Oh, really?" Annalise asked. "Amazing." "In case you're wondering what brought us here," Aaron said, "we both were told that we have way too much free time." "No kidding, me too," Annalise said. "Now, the real issue I find with this school is that the professors seem a bit hypocritical," Annalise said, "especially Andono and Braun." "Yep, I totally see it," Aaron said. Annalise's next stop was the gymnasium, where she met Cassiela, who was looking at the balls used for a traditional sport. "Pudrobile is Phinleya's most traditional sport," Cassiela said. "I wouldn't expect this school to have sports compared to every other school in our nation. This community is really small." "I thought I would be attending Thedos Academy," Annalise said, "but my parents think they are all lawless." "I don't get the deal with these laws," Cassiela said. "What kind of laws are we even abiding by?" "We should find out once our classes start," Annalise said. "Whose homeroom do you have?" "Professor Leon," Cassiela said. "You?" "Me too. I'm Annalise," Annalise said. "I'm Cassiela," Cassiela said. "Are you familiar with these parts?" "No, not really," Annalise said. "Cool. Me neither," Cassiela said. "Should we discuss it more later?" "I don't mind," Annalise said. Annalise left the gymnasium and entered the cafeteria. There she found Azalea, sitting at one of the tables while doing nothing. She was a bit shy whenever Annalise approached her. "Oh, sorry to bother you," Annalise said. "No, you're fine," Azalea said. "It's just that everyone here is so fixated on laws and this goddess I'm just now hearing about." "I thought I was the only one," Annalise said. "I've already met a couple of people who have the exact same thoughts." "You did?" Azalea asked. "It's not likely you'll meet someone who isn't Darenakka during these days. They're all in Professor Leon's homeroom," Annalise said. "Are you in there too?" "Yes," Azalea said. "Dang, that's crazy. Looks like there's a whole group not knowing about the goddess." "I'm Annalise," Annalise said. "What are you doing here by yourself?" "I couldn't find anyone else like you," Azalea said. "I was scared of getting made fun of, so I came here." "Don't be afraid to talk to me about it," Annalise said. "I'm just as confused as you are." "I didn't catch your name, though." "It's Azalea," Azalea said. "I suppose we could meet again soon." Annalise went outside because she hadn't seen the backyard yet. There was a small court, playset, and octagonal fence. Nuta was in the fencing, playing with a ball that was provided. She accidentally hit it out of the fence, and Annalise stopped it from rolling off with her left foot. "Is this yours?" Annalise asked. Oh, thanks for catching that, Nuta said. Annalise kicked the ball back over, and Nuta caught it. Then she leapt over the fence and sat on it. The name's Nuta, Nuta said. What's yours? Oh, me? Annalise asked. It's Annalise. I hear you're new, Nuta said. Guess what? So am I. I was so eager to hear all about the sports this school has to offer. Little did I know how strict Andono and Bron are about rules. I haven't even heard about any of them. We should get to it shortly, Annalise said. Leon is my homeroom professor, by the way. No shot. Mine too, Nuta said. Huh, Annalise said. Everyone I've met so far is in the exact same classroom. I look forward to it, Nuta said. See ya. As soon as Annalise went back into the school, she was called to the office by Bron. Not only that, but Mylanon, Inaro, and Josephina were also called back. Since everyone in the school could hear the call, the 6 Annalise just met decided to follow her. All students were able to meet in their classrooms to go over the rules with their professors and introduce each other to their classmates for the upcoming semester. Before Annalise could go, her entire family was in the office. The rest of the new students were behind them. I'm proud of you all, Tana said. You seem to be getting to know the campus quite well. It should be impossible for you to get lost now. I should probably go now, Shano said. I'm sure you will be bringing the children home once orientation is over. Yes and no, Tana said. You and I will be staying here to get to know the temple. Oh, right. I almost forgot, Shano said. I do have to go to work today. Our school year will be starting soon, too. Fine then, Tana said. Shano left, departing to Thedos Academy. Your father, Tana said. He applied to be a music teacher at that lawless Thedos Academy. Shano previously taught at Darenakka Academy until another teacher took his place. He was tempted to retire until he was called by Inferna Academy, which was the worst school year of his entire life. The students were rebellious and had no care for the school's property. He only worked there for 1 year and then left to find a position close to home, which he found at Thedos Academy. Tana worked from home. She excelled in cooking and photography, which assisted her in selling her own recipes for clients all across Phinleyan. She rarely made any mistakes, and when she did make mistakes, she would have either had to restart or cancel the project. That was the very least of her concerns, for her work schedules heavily interfered with her time with her children, which led up to one of the reasons why Tana sent them to Darenakka Academy rather than educating them from home. This reduced the amount of stress of having to take care of 4 children at once while simultaneously having to work on the recipes she had planned to sell. Welcome back, new ones, Andono said. Now that you have gotten to know our campus, it is almost time for you to meet in your classrooms and hear from your professors about the rules. But before you leave, I must give you all a gift. Bron was carrying a stack of books, all looking alike. Andono took 2 at a time and handed 1 to each student and gave 2 to Tana so that she could give 1 to Shano later. He gave 1 to Annalise, 1 to Mylanon, 1 to Inaro, 1 to Josephina, 1 to Cornan, 1 to Azalea, 1 to Annalise, 1 to Aaron, 1 to Cassiela, and 1 to Nuta. It was a maroon and gray book titled Darenakka, Sacred Book of the Goddess Darenakka, but was there an author's name provided? What is it? Annalise asked. This is your Darenakka, the sacred book of the Darenakkans. Andono said, you are required to bring this to class every day, and you absolutely must take very good care of it. Not even a smudge or a scratch should be laid upon it. As soon as the bell rang, it was time to depart to the classrooms. Each class doubled up based on the grade number. Garoda and Nialis joined together, Olive and Sherry joined together, Pulo and Anne joined together, Leon and Chim joined together, Elijah and Ziny joined together, and Plaza and Meg joined together. Annalise's class met in Chim's classroom, but Leon gave out the lecture. Annalise was relieved to be in the same class as Azalea, Cornan, Annalise, Cassiela, Aaron, and Nuta. However, she was also in the same class as Zan, Brocus, and Multus, along with a few other students. Cetata included students such as Carlito, Dinelas, and Onotino, they are cousins, Eso, Yahim, Yabieta, Cagliari, Bernia, Bato, Meridi, cousin to Bernia, Vessalini, and Lexis and Ella, they are twin sisters. Oxeta included students such as Nadan and Thedos, they are twin brothers, Angora, sister to Azalea, Gian, Leanne, Kina, Ando, Lendo, Hale, Lorenza, Veldis, cousin to Carlito, Corel, Janet, and Eunice, cousin to Yebieta. Annalise never had a chance to get to know any of Inaro's or Josephina's classmates, but she did meet a few of the higher class students and Milanon's classmates. He was in a class with Mandalia, Marty, Chrissy, Serena, Luxus, brother to Angora and Azalea, Garen, Tias and Taya, they are siblings, Emmy, Carolee, Liella, Calicity, Ramus, and Soraya. Annalise was only familiar with 4 students from each class of Neneda and Decada. Neneda included Elias, brother to Multus, Lysissa, sister to Marty, Mikal, and Keo, and Decada included Caius, Machias, sister to Gian, Tyson, and Ariel. Now, it was time for the instructions to be given. Leon asked the entire class to introduce themselves, which was how Annalise got to know them, and the most exotic fact was that few students immigrated from Ayoha, a city in northern Egypt, Japan, or Spain. Once everyone had spoken, Leon began going over the rules, according to the Darenakka laws. Know why the dress code involves colors such as maroon, navy blue, black, white, gray, and khaki. This dress code is mandatory. Red is blood, orange is fire, yellow is the sun, green is grass, cyan is an enemy, blue is water, indigo is sorrow, purple is death, pink is romance. Those who bear these colors are said to be bonded with the enemies of the goddess. Nature is her enemy, though animals are her loyal subjects. They are considered to be supernatural, and things in nature are the opposite. Plants threaten the goddess's being, and the elements are deadly to all. Everything we have here is mineral-based, which consists of more than 120 elements in all, and I do mean everything. Light is the gift to see, but if you look at it too much, your eyes will burn, so you must block it off at times. Darkness, however, is better for your eyes. It does you no harm as it is cherished by the goddess. Chim demonstrated by turning off the classroom lights for a bit and then turning them back on, which caused the students' eyes to flash, and they were slightly burnt before they got used to it. As for formal attire, we have different rules for the dress codes between men and women. Men are required to wear a top that completely covers the torso, and they must wear pants that touch the ankle. Women are also required to cover the entire torso, but they must also wear either a dress or a skirt that is below the knee, but they are not allowed to wear pants unless they are specifically chosen to do so. Your family members are only born to you by blood, and by the temple of our goddess you are all partially a family. Every single person in this room can be a branch on the family tree of the goddess. Your friends must be Darenakkan, and anyone who is not Darenakkan is an enemy, unless he or she chooses to surrender to the goddess, which is why you all were asked if you were prepared to surrender as soon as you joined this school. We here believe in only one goddess. Our temple is Darenakka Temple, the superior place of worship, which is just across the street from our schoolhouse. The goddess lives here in our country, though she cannot be seen with the mortal eye. Each and every Darenakkan here is required to attend the temple on the sacred day, which is Roses. Failure to attend by any means will result in a penalty, which will start as a minor penalty, and it will only grow if failure to attend is continuous. There should be no valid excuse to skip the sacred day. No illness, travel, or obituary is acceptable for missing out on worship in the temple. You are also required to attend school, but you must be sent home with assignments if you so happen to miss due to illness, travel, or obituary. You are only allowed to take the courses that we have to offer, for we have nothing more. As for you foreigners, those of you who have immigrated from afar, you're required to learn our native language, for the goddess only trusts the tongues of the Phinleyans. Another valid excuse to miss school, and the only acceptable excuse to miss worship on the sacred day, is natural disasters. Storms are raids from nature, trying to attack all that is living. This entire community is closed even due to rain, which brings discomfort to all. I don't want to see anyone start a fight while school is in session. Rightfully so, if any one of us is ever drawn into war against those who rebel against the goddess, then we are expected to use weapons called muskets, which are more deadly than the weapons they use. That way, we can surely ensure that they continue no more. Ch1 was carrying a musket. Hopefully, this shouldn't apply to any of you, since you all are still fairly young. A child born with accurate care will have pure lives and have the ability to learn on their own, therefore soon taking care of themselves with no issues. However, any child who is born without care will become vicious in the eyes of the goddess, and they will rebel against learning and move on in life with no experience and will fail dramatically. These such children must be taken care of before such things can happen, and by that I mean they must have the palms of their hands nailed to the wood at the temple. Ch1 opened a window and pointed at the temple. Everyone looked in that direction and saw a massive plank of wood on top of an altar. But since all of you are here, that shouldn't be an issue, so do not be afraid. But you shall be afraid of death, for it will still come to each of you one day. The land of death is the domain of the goddess's enemy, and those who die are doomed to suffer there for eternity. Therefore, you must live your lives to the fullest. Your health is very important. What you must be the most careful about is crime. Crimes are vows against the goddess and or alliances with nature. Depending on the type of wrongdoing, you may still pray for purification, forgiveness, and a chance of redemption, or you will be forced to suffer a series of torture and possible execution. This must be done by our leaders because the goddess wishes not to. Leon wrote on the chalkboard a passage from the Darenakka. Now, let's read it together, Leon said. The entire class, except for the new students, read the passage aloud. The sinful, unforgiven, impure, and irredeemable, they shall bleed in one piece. Orientation was finally over, and Annalise bolted out of the classroom, making her way outside. There she met Tana and her siblings to go back home. How was it? Tana asked. Have you learned much about the Darenakkans? She felt very uncomfortable after hearing everything that was told to her. Your siblings told me that the rules are harsh and binding, Tana said. That's just life, you know. Not all things can be family friendly. Can we please go home now? Josephina asked. I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight. You're gonna have to get used to it, Tana said. This is our new home. Home? Josephina asked. What do you mean by that? Who said you could choose what we believe in? Mylanon asked. Tana grabbed Mylanon by the shirt. First of all, Tana said, I'm your mother. Second of all, never take that tone with the goddess. Mylanon broke free but tripped and fell onto the ground. We're going home now, Tana said. There's no such thing as freedom. I don't want to risk you all being fatally punished. 2 weeks later, school was finally in session. Both Seteda and Eosater were paired up during Zini's training hour in the gymnasium. During that hour, each student was taught how to play Phinleyan's most traditional sport, Pudurbile. The team was split between both groups. There were 6 positions on the field: the defender, the catcher, the baseman, the outfield, the umpire, and the pitcher or kicker. Zini explained the rules of the game. Each team will take turns on the field, Zini said. Let me figure out who will do it first. Zini set an arrow on the ground and spun it. Once it stopped spinning, the tip was pointing at Eosater. He picked up the arrow. All right, Zini said. Eosater, you're on the field first. Seteda, into the back corner. Those on the kicking side have 2 ways they can hit the ball, by kicking it or hitting it with the stick. The Seteda students lined up in the back corner. The Eosater students were in the center of the field. Now, Zini said, both of your groups need to know the roles of the fielders. First up is the defender. There are 4 of these players on the kicking side who will be guarding the runners as they move between each checkpoint by using these sticks that must be held with both hands. So you guys in Seteda may choose 4 players to guard each path. Next up, we have the catcher. This is the player on the fielding side who stands behind the kickers and catches the ball if the kicker misses. Catch it 3 times, and that player is out. Once 3 outs have been called, then both teams will swap positions. Third is the baseman. 3 players on the fielding side will guard the checkpoints. Their goals are to strike out the runners by holding the ball while landing a foot on the checkpoint first. The runners must make it across each checkpoint and back to where they started to score a point for their team. Next up, we have the outfield. These players are positioned past the lines that connect each checkpoint. Their role is to fetch the ball and throw it at the runners to strike them out or pass it among each other and the baseman. If they catch the ball before it touches the ground, the player who hit or kicked it is out. Then we have the umpire, which will be me. The umpire is the one who watches each play and confirms whether or not the play is fair. If it isn't, it will be recalled, and the player who caused it will be penalized. Last but not least is the pitcher. This is the player who passes the ball to the kicking side. They too can interfere while the ball is being passed to strike someone out. The team with the most points after 3 turns is the winner. Ready? The same rules applied to every other school across Phinleyan. Since Annalise's class was kicking and batting first, Brookis claimed himself to be the team captain and was approved by Ch1. He sent Azalea, Bernia, Meredy, and Annalise to be the defenders. Annalise disagreed. "May I please bat instead?" Annalise asked. "Nah, girl," Brookis said. "I'm the team captain. Ask Professor Ch1. You can do it next turn, all right?" "Sure," Annalise said. None of Annalise's teammates could make it very far as of running to the checkpoints, thus trading both sides so that Thedos would be taking the field. Brookis was the pitcher, and he sent Annalise to be the catcher. The Eosater students were able to score a few points, but they did have to swap again. Annalise was not one of the defenders that time. Instead, she was placed at the back of the line, even though she made it there before the majority of her team. Brookis nearly set her off. Thanks to Cagliari and Multis, the Thedos students were able to score a few points before they had to swap with the Eosater students, who currently had the leading score. They scored a few more points thanks to Ando, Lendo, and Ch1, but Angora's defense was not enough for the rest of the runners, and so they had to take the field again. This was Thedos' last chance to score enough points to win the game. Finally, Annalise was allowed to hit the ball, even after a few points were scored, but there were already 2 outs. Annalise was at the first checkpoint, Brookis was at the second, and Nuto was at the third. Both girls cheered for Annalise, as the defenders were Aaron, Cassiela, Bado, and Lexus. Brookis, however, was saying to her that she mustn't mess up her one and only turn. Thedos was the pitcher, and once he tossed the ball her way, Annalise kicked it so far into the air. Nadon attempted to catch the ball before it hit the ground, yet it only slipped through his palms, canceling the immediate out. The ball continued to roll beyond the outfield, and no one was able to stop it. The ball rolled outside as the door was left open. It rolled into the road and was stopped once it landed in a puddle. Ch1 rushed outside to get it and deemed the play fair, thus giving Thedos 4 points in a single turn and outnumbering Eosater's score. Soon, both teams swapped positions for the last time. Lendo was the first kicker, Multis was the pitcher, and Cornan was the catcher. Multis rolled the ball really hard, and Lendo kicked it so high, it crashed into one of the ceiling lights and broke it. The ball fell back down and hit Ch1 in the head, causing him to collapse. "I almost forgot to mention," Ch1 said. "Hitting a ceiling light means that both teams must swap immediately. That was the only rule that didn't apply to the rest of the Phinleyan schools, for they played the sport outside. Due to that unfortunate circumstance for Eosater, the game was over, and Thedos was the winner. After everyone in Eosater followed Ch1 out of the gymnasium, Annalise quickly approached Brookis as her new friends congratulated her for the win. "Tell me," Annalise said, "why have you done me so dirty? What caused you to underestimate me so greatly? I was the one who won you the game, Captain." "Don't say such words, Annalise," Brookis said. "You embarrass me." "You didn't even let me do anything," Annalise said. "I thought you wanted to chat with me and teach me about your goddess." "You know, I don't even have to teach you," Brookis said. "You should be able to learn by yourself after what you did. Unless you were born without care." "Nonsense," Annalise said. "My parents treated me with as much care as they could." "Is that so?" Brookis asked. "Then have your parents surrendered to the goddess before you were born?" Annalise shook her head. No. Be careful, alright, Brocus asked. Don't even think about messing with me again, you hear me? Annalise rolled her eyes and walked off, but Brocus was still ranting to her before she exited the gymnasium. And be sure to say your prayers, Brocus said. The goddess may spare you now, but just you wait. Annalise left the gymnasium and made her way to the office. Braun stopped her in her path. Now where do you think you're going? Braun asked. Shouldn't you be in class? Have you noticed Brocus's behavior? Annalise asked. Do you accept this? Brocus has attended our school for the longest time, Braun said. I understand how he is. But you should know that experienced students like him have more privileges than those who are new here like you. You are required to accept the way he treats you, for your role in this school is powerless as of now. Annalise was greatly offended. Braun left her, and she continued on her way to the office, attempting to leave the school. I will not surrender to a goddess who allows these useless rules, Annalise said. None of it feels real to me. As soon as Annalise approached the door that led to the office, she overheard Andono. He was talking to someone. What brings you two here? Andono asked. Are you also new? Orientation was 2 weeks ago. Sorry, sir, Mario said, but that's not why we're here. We are looking for someone. Looking for someone, eh? Andono asked. In this school? This place is full of children and professors. Do any of them belong to you? Or is this some sort of scheme? No, I assure you, Luigi said. Please, just let us in. This is very important. We'll have to see what the goddess thinks about that, Andono said. I suggest you surrender right now, or else you two will be punished for your uninvited trespassing. Annalise opened the door and saw Mario and Luigi talking to Andono. Huh? Andono asked. Annalise, why are you here? Mario and Luigi? Annalise asked. How did you manage to get into Thedos? There's a vacant house close to yours, Mario said. It was the only village in these parts, since your family brought up this school. Wait a sec. You two moved here? Annalise asked. You are definitely someone who needed it, Luigi said. You aren't like the rest. There's something about you that I'm afraid people would want to take advantage of. Darenakka Academy, Annalise said. How dare you defy our community? Andono said. You two must leave now in order to evade the goddess's judgment. What goddess? Mario asked. This is no schoolhouse. This is a prison. Your rules don't scare us. Ah, how brave of you, Andono said. All right, looks like we'll have to deal with you ourselves. This way, guys, Annalise said. I have friends this way. Mario and Luigi swiftly followed Annalise into the gymnasium while they were being chased by Andono. Braun joined the chase right before Annalise slammed the gymnasium doors open. They stopped running as soon as they approached the rest of the Cetata class. Brookalites, Zahn said. No, not just any Brookalites, Multis said. It's Mario and Luigi. Brocus stood closer to Mario and Luigi. Andono and Braun were guarding the door. You two shouldn't be here, Brocus said. Why have you come? Annalise needed us, Mario said. Her parents made a great mistake in sending her here. That is false, Brocus said. Attending Darenakka is urgent. The goddess shows no mercy to those who defy it. Then, show us this goddess you speak of, Luigi said. What will she do? The mortal eye cannot see her, Brocus said. She could be anywhere, ready to cast her punishment. Andono was stunned for a bit. What is it, sir? Braun asked. It's the goddess, Andono said. She has a message for me. What is it? What is it? Braun asked. Listen closely, Andono said. She says, settle this as soon as you can. These people are uncivilized. This quarrel is unnecessary. Give the plumber boys a chance, and let their little friends give me a chance. They haven't been here for very long. How in the world did that happen? Annalise asked. Well, you've heard it, Andono said. The goddess has spoken. End this pity now, and lay no hands on anybody. As for you, Mario and Luigi, I will give you yet another offer, since you two have come from so far. Please, join our school, and forgive me for my first impression you have seen. The goddess would like to give you a chance, merciless though she may be. We'll see, Mario said. I say we stay as long as Annalise is here. What a way to spread your fame, Brocus said. Do you really think you could just choose who receives it? Don't make the goddess take it from you. Brocus, Andono said. Did you not just hear what the goddess said? She told you to quit fighting with the new people. Continue, and only you will suffer her penalty. Yeah, but I thought she adored me so much, Brocus said. She may, but that doesn't make you perfect and flawless, Andono said. Watch yourself. Yes, I'll go and confess, Brocus said. Dude, wait, Multus said. Don't leave us here, Zahn said. Brocus left the room, and Multus and Zahn followed behind him. Andono and Braun returned to the office. The entire class was left unsupervised. It's strange how they just left us like that, Cagliari said. Yeah, should we just return to class? Bato asked. We definitely should, Bernia said. We've been late this entire time. It should be okay, Aso said. Professor Elijah's tardy policies aren't at all extreme. Indeed, Vessalini said. As soon as he finds out why we're late, he'll understand. The Cetata students left the gymnasium. Mario, Luigi, Annalise, Cornan, Cassiella, Analamis, Azalea, Nuta, and Aaron stayed. I suggest we call in, Azalea said. I cannot go another minute after what happened. Never mind that, Analamis said. It's nothing compared to that lecture of rules we had to sit through during orientation. You may be right, but, Azalea said. I digress, Cornan said. Considering why Mario and Luigi came here, and since Annalise is now a friend of ours, this team should stick together more often. I'm sorry, team? Cassiella asked. Did you just call us a team? I really can't blame him, guys, Aaron said. None of us feel like this belief system is any good. As much as I wanted to give it a chance, Nuta said, it's probably best that I don't after all of this. Well then, Annalise said, I like it. You guys haven't even met my brothers and sister yet. They'll feel more intrigued to be a part of this group. Wait, does that mean we are a part of it too? Luigi asked. I'm honored. Well, I'd say it's your call, Mario, Annalise said. Oh, really? Mario asked. All right, let's do it. Thus Mario spoke, and Annalise and her newly formed team made their way to the office. Nobody was there, so Annalise took advantage of it and called upon Milanon, Inaro, and Josephina to join them. The three immediately made their way to the office and joined the team, and then they all exited the schoolhouse. Tana and Shano did not suspect a thing, for Annalise and the team decided to explore the temple until school hours were over. That way, they could avoid punishment at home, and none of them have seen the temple yet.